This is a tough one for me, but I will make you an offer.
Who built those photos that you are showing us? Foreign company that I've been talking to in Australia. This was a scam.
Why did you take over his business?
And why these colors?
The colors?
For the app.
What?
Oh my goodness. Guys, welcome back. It's another review on the Lion's Den. We're talking about what went down in the Lion's Den, in the latest episode of the Lion's Den. Guys, 4 entrepreneurs came into the den and it was another drama. It was another drama. If you're very new to my channel, welcome so much. Thank you so much for hopping in here. We talk about reality shows, and of course today we're going to be talking about the Lion's Den. Guys, for every episode, 4 entrepreneurs get into the den, and I'm going to take them one after the other. But before we go on with this conversation, if you're new to my channel, please take this minute to subscribe to this channel to be a part of this community. Do not forget to hit on the notification bell so that you always get a lot of my video every time I share new content in this channel. Don't forget to support my channel by liking this video and maybe sharing the content if you feel like I'm making any kind of sense. Thank you so much. Let's dive into the conversation of everything that happened. So guys, usually I do 2 videos for my reviews of Lion's Den, but I don't know if I'm going to do it's going to be an all-in-one video. Maybe during the time of editing I'll get to know, but right now I'm talking about the first 2 entrepreneurs who came into the den. Guys, this was another drama. It was another drama. So the first entrepreneur who got into the den is this young man who was pitching his app, logistics. He was into the logistics business and he was pitching his app, and it was a mouthful listening to him. And like at some point I could not understand what this guy was saying. I don't know, but maybe somebody can make sense out of what he said. But please, after listening to this guy's speech, I did not understand anything he was saying. And the only person that was trying to explain was Kiari. Kiari was explaining. I was like, okay, maybe it looks like somebody gets this guy actually. Maybe somebody understands what he's saying, because at one point he's saying A, next point he's saying C, and I'm like, okay, let's be calming down, or let's be calming down. But guys, nothing, I was not expecting the savagery from
Currently, we
Kiari.
have about 200 merchants. Dispatch riders, we have about 20 dispatch riders.
You have only 23 PLs.
Currently, we have 53 PL.
I thought you mentioned 20
deliveries per day. A dispatch rider will
let
pick it up.
me simplify. I'm out.
Seriously, this Kiari, he seriously knows how to be savage sometimes. How can you be supporting this guy so much and suddenly you're the very first person who says, no, I'm not investing in your business? Like, that's some serious savage. Okay, so Allariwaju is pitching his app faster. There's a mouthful pronouncing that thing. So he was kind of doing a logistics thing that had to do with multiple carrying, and somebody making more money from carrying multiple packages and delivering them. I really did not understand. If you watched this particular episode, please can you explain to us maybe in the comment section, because I clearly did not understand what he was saying. I was trying to get it at some point with Kiara explaining. I felt like I had gotten it, and suddenly it looked like everything just eluded me. Anyways, his communication skills sucked. Like, it was very bad. There was no clarity. Like, I did not understand what he was asking for. I mean, I did not understand anything in that pitch. I'm not going to lie. The truth is, he came into the den, made his speech, was asking for money, and he left. He was asking for 25 million or so. Yeah. So and guys, anyways, at the end of the day, he didn't get any form of funding because nobody understood what he was doing. That was just it. There was no clarity in what he was doing. I think he just needs to go back, work on his team, like sit down, understand what he's actually doing, understand how to communicate to people. Like Paul actually said that I think the problem you have is communication. Maybe you know what to say, but you don't know how to say it. I know some people are like that. They know what they want to say, it's in their head, the dream is in their head, but they just lack how to explain themselves better. I think as an entrepreneur, we all should learn how to be very versatile, explain ourselves, understanding clarity. Guys, clarity is the first thing in your business. If anybody, if a baby cannot understand what you're doing, you're not in business. I mean, whether it's an adult, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a baby, whatever, everybody should understand what you do in simple terms. But I could not understand what this guy was doing in simple terms, and so I don't think I'm going to go further into talking about him. He came into the den, he pitched. they had apps running already. He was doing demonstrations. But Laji was like, what's the color? Why this color? The branding is poor. Like, it was like, we could change it if you want. I just feel like this guy needs to go and restructure his business. I just feel like a lot of Nigerians hop into businesses, just run the business for running sake, run because we want to make money, run because we need to be doing business, and don't even understand what it means to structure a business properly, to do the right thing. Like have structure, you know. Sometimes you can be doing the right thing, but we have wrong structure. Anyways, that was that for the first entrepreneur. The second entrepreneur we saw in the den was this guy's Sanusi, and he was asking for just 10 million naira for his Gary business. People like Adenike came up, you know, had conversations. We told him that you know, I'm from Ijebu. Ijebu is like in Ijebu, Gary is like Ijebu Gary. Now you guys know Ijebu Gary. This is we eat Ijebu, we eat Gary. Gary is our thing, you know. So Adenike and Bolaji concord. So Kiari was like, what are your numbers? He mentioned his numbers. He said he made like, he mentioned the years, 1.5, 2 million, 2.5. He said he actually had a decline and was increasing, and he has been having some kind of losses in his business. This guy was like, okay, I studied this. In fact, my mouth was open while this Sanusi guy was giving us his pedigrees. Like, I was like, wow. He was asking for 10 million naira for a 35% stake in his business. He had the Gary business, so he wanted to use the money to run a lot of things. He explained a lot of things. He was trying to do multiple things with the Gary business, and also feeding from the waste, you know, from the cassava waste and all that. So at the end of the day, I think there was also the problem with clarity. Like, people didn't really understand the particular place he wanted to invest his money, because it was like he was doing a bit about it. He was doing too much. He wanted to do everything. And then when he was through with mentioning all he was mentioning, anyways guys, to cut the long story short, the two striking questions that actually affected this young man's speech was the questions from Kia.
What can you tell me about yourself?
Business is in me.
Parents that were in business? Or?
Yeah, my dad was a frozen food trader, so he used to trade with Hebrew.
Why did you take over his business?
Little do we know that that's exposing that about himself was going to be the problem that he would have faced in his pitch. So at the end of the day, I think I was like, you know what, everything sounds like what I think. 10 million naira, you have a network that can give you this money. Why don't you source for 10 million naira in your network and keep your equity of 35%? And honestly guys, I will not lie, when Mrs. Adenike said for the very first time, I agreed completely with what she said. Because I mean, if you are saying your father worked Hebrew, has deals with different companies, like Paul, when he was even talking about it, I'm not trying to say the guy was bragging. He was really saying something that he you know, that probably is real. Paul was like, why didn't you run the business? And he said, oh, he left it for his younger siblings. And I think it's understandable, you know. At the end of the day, Mr. Adenike was like, you know what, your network is too rich. I don't think I need to bring my money here. Let me give it to some other person that would need it in their network. Go and meet your network and get money from them. And guys, at the same time, you know, I think he was about to explain himself, and Mr. Adenike was like, you know what, I'm out. And the same energy was what Bolaji came with. You know, I have the same sentiment with Mr. Adenike. You know, you have a family that is rich. Why are you going to be bothering yourself with coming here to ask us for money? Look for the money, you can find it in your circle. Go around your circle and look for this money. And that was how Adenike and Bolaji left. Paul was like, you know what, I like everything. Your business has multiple streams of income. This is the kind of thing. You check the first box and the second box, but the third box, it's not checked. I don't know if you're investable or your business is investable, because I think when Paul decided not to invest in his business was when he said, you know, when Paul was explaining, when he was explaining about his business, he said about how do you share your revenue, and he said that 90% of what he was getting, 95% was going to go to the resources and 5% for running of the business. And Paul was like, so you're investing 90% of your time for 70% output. And you guys, you know Paul, he works with the Pareto principle. He wants the 80-20. If he wants you to work 20 and make 80, not work 80 and make 20. I think that was the reason why Paul looked at this business and said, I'm not going to invest, because the turnover was very, very low. I mean, this turnover was very low. It didn't look like a very profitable business, if you ask me. And so eventually, Mr. Dan came in, made his own, gave his reasons to, and at the end of the day, the second guy didn't get any funding at all. He was asking for 10 million for 35%. None of the lions saw it fit to invest in his business. Guys, the third entrepreneur came in, and it was another drama started. So this guy was pitching his new project, his building project, and his building project, Fozone Homes. Damilare also came with asking for the same amount the second guy was asking. And in my head, I was like, how come? This is the first time we're seeing this in the den. 2 people coming in, like, simultaneously. I mean, the second guy was acting for 10 million, 35%. This guy too came in, was acting for 10 million for 35%. Anyways, let me keep my sentiments still. You hear the end of it. So he came in, he was pitching, he said he wanted to make homes more affordable, that with just 2.5 million he could help people build homes. And I mean, I was like, 2.5 million, I will build house. Hey, I was already ready to say, you know what, I'm going to jump on this guy. Even if he does not get any big deal in this, then I'm going to go after him. And guys, questions and answer. After the pitch, there's always a question and answer. And then, you know, these lions, they will expose everything exposable. So anyway, the question was like, okay, came from Mr. Denike. Mr. Denike was like, from your estimation, you said that 2.5 million naira. Run us through how this is possible. And then he said that, you know, to build a house like that, the one he had showed to them, that it would take like 3 to 4 containers, and each container costs about 300,000 to 400,000, and that it depends on the person's design, taste, interior taste, and all that. That the workmanship, just 400,000. So according to his explanation, if you were to build a home, you need just 3 or 4 containers. So that's if you want like a 3-bedroom, you do three containers, and then maybe the park walkway will be the 1 container, you know, and that. So with his calculation, it was like, affordable home is actually going to be a dream come true finally, because with his calculation was saying 300,000 for a container. 300,000 times 3 is that's 900k times 4, that's 1.2 million. If it's 400,000, it's going to 1.6 million. So like with less than 2 million, you can beautify your home and then you pay for the workmanship. So, you know, I was looking at it like, this thing sounds interesting, but Mr. Denike busted his bubbles immediately. He was like, no, the amount of container costs much more than 300,000, 400,000. And, you know, at the end of the day, he was like, so when Mr. Denike pointed out that, he was like, actually, we can move away from container to, and that was where I had to pause. Guys, listen for yourselves, because I cannot even say it all with my mouth.
Convinced about that cost.
Definitely, we might not be using container eventually because the price of container are very high. It's an idea. You've never built one. We don't have a company yet. What are you asking, you know, us to invest in? Who built those photos that you are showing us?
Actually,
Foreign companies that I've been talking to in Australia. This was a scam.
I was like, no, this one is scammer. This is not the first time we're seeing an entrepreneur like this. I mean, Bolaji was very mad. If you ask him, Bolaji was like, is your business incorporated? He said no. In fact, Kiara was like, have you built any of this? He said no. And you guys know in Nigeria, we suffered, people died. People have been dying from constructions in Nigeria. And then imagine somebody who has never built coming to pitch building homes. I'm like, now wow, this guy wants another casualty in Nigeria, God forbid. So Kiara asked him, have you built a home? He said no. That was where the red flags started flying. And then Bolaji was like, have you incorporated your company? He said no. And I was like, okay, you've not incorporated your company, you've not built any home, you're asking for 10 million naira, no evaluation. He was evaluating his company very high anyway. As in, what do you want us to invest in? That was the question Bolaji asked. In fact, at the end of the day, I don't even need to tell you how they left. Every of the liars just told him. In fact, Paul was very, very angry. Paul was actually disappointed in this guy, because Paul said that he was willing to already invest in this guy even before this guy started this pitch. So the truth is that when you're coming to the den to even pitch, like, if your product is okay selling, these people have you in mind to say, okay, you know, before we listen to you, they've made up their minds. And that was like a clear indication that, guys, you just need to have a perfect product and forget your pitch. It's not by pitch. And this guy, at the end of the day, this guy just literally didn't have a business. He just came up to the den. At that point, I started suspecting. I was like, are you sure that the 10 million he was even asking? Because how would you come and, for a construction business, you're coming to ask 10 million? That's too cheap, if you ask me. Or I don't know, it's my sentiment. In my channel, it's constructive criticism. Or if you have something to say against what I've just said, share it in the comment section. I'm here for the gospels. So I was like, this guy be like saying just me should come, you know, because 10 million naira for a construction business, that's way too small, if you ask me. I mean, the very first person who I know was into interiors and all that, I mean, got like 100 million. And so why is this guy coming to ask for 10 million for a construction business? So it was clear that, you know, and then Bolaji asked him, the pictures, where did you get it from? He said, oh, that he got it from I think his business people, I don't know if it's from Australia or where. And at the end of the day, he left it then. And when he left it then, conversation started with Lions. Lions was like, this is real scam. We just saw a real scam. And Bolaji was like, I'm sure that even the life jacket he was even wearing, I'm very sure that he bought it and he rented it. The safety jacket he was wearing, that he was very sure that it was bought just to make himself look presentable for the pitch. Guys, it's not by looking presentable for the pitch. If you don't have a business, nobody would invest in it. So I think future entrepreneurs are coming to the den. You guys, respect yourself. If you don't have a business, don't bother. Don't apply. Don't come and disgrace yourself on screen. That was that for the third entrepreneur. Guys, the fourth entrepreneur that came into the den, I was like praying. I pray this one's get it this time. And then Ntisa and Nuhu, yeah, they came in. They were pitching. They had an eco green business, a green business that was, they were changing, transforming waste to tile, interlocking tile, and it was amazing. So she was there with her accountant. Accountant said, okay, we had made about 1,875,000 and we had the loss of 545,000. You know, pitch was very precise and simple. They were asking for 20 million, you know, for 25% equity share. You guys, I mean, I was happy when they were pitching. I was like, this sounds good and legit, you know. And at the end of the day, they were like, if we give you the 10 million and the 20 million, how fast are you going to make it work? You know, so the first question came from Mrs. Adenike. Mrs. Adenike was like, run us through the process of how you produce this interlocking. So he was like, you get the waste. After they get the waste, they process it, they put it in their mold, allow it to dry, and then it can be used immediately. And then they asked if Mr. Dan asked if it could be, if it was just interlocking or they could use it for normal things, other things. And she said, I think the other stuff they could use it, they would have to get a different mold to use it, something like that. Anyways, at the end of the day, Adenike was also asking. Adenike, you know, she also explained that they were manufacturing manually, and that the reason why they were turning down offers to make their product because they didn't have the machines to do it. So I was really impressed when they said they were doing it manually. It means that they were not even taking no as an answer, you know, and that was quite impressive. Like, we already know what the money is going to be used for, you know. At the end of the day, it sounded really impressive. Bolaji was like, in fact, Kiari started it. Kiari was like, you guys are doing something very, very phenomenal. I don't know, there was something about Kiari this episode. I don't understand why he was just like that, but he was not interested in investing in any of the entrepreneurs. I don't know, maybe the businesses didn't sound nice to him. So he was the first person to say, you know what, you guys are doing a phenomenal work, but this one is not for me. I'm bouncing out, you know. And he left. And Bolaji was like, you know what, I'm going to make you an offer. You guys are doing something amazing. And the offer was, I'm going to give you all the money you want. 50 million is going to be as equity. 5 million naira will be loan that will be repayable. I want 50% of your business, not I think they were saying 25%. They wanted to give 25% of the business, but Bolaji was asking for 50%. And he said carbon credits that we're going to get, because it's a green business, it's climate friendly, you know. And he was like, all the carbon credit for 7.5 years, it will be on me. So the 15 million is going to be equity in their business, investment in their business, you know, to be like one of their major stakeholders. And then the 5 million is going to be repayable. You know, when he made that pitch, it was quite interesting. Paul was the next person to jump in. Paul was like, you know what, I'm going to make you an offer. I love what you do. I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to give you all the money you want. Okay, sorry, Bolaji's pitch was that he was going to take 5%. He was going to get 5 million back, and that the 5 million will be at a 25% profit margin. So it simply means that if he's giving them 5 million, no, he was going to be at the 50% return rate at 50%, because if he was going to give them 5 million, he was going to be getting 7,500,000. So that's like he's getting 50% of his money back. So Paul did a different pitch. He really was into the business. He was like, I'm going to give you a base where you're going to do, I'm going to be your customer. I'm not just pitching as a business partner, but I'll be your customer. I'll buy from you. Paul is in a construction company. He has hotels. He's in the real estate business. He's always building. He has projects scattered around Nigeria, you know, and all that. So, you know, it was quite interesting to see Paul jump into this offer. And then Paul was like, you know what, I'm going to give you all the 20 million, but I want 50%. I want my money to be paid back in full. We can share the carbon credits, you know. And it really sounded interesting. And at that point, guys, Dan was like, you know, when he was done, Dan was, the question Dan asked was, how long would they repay the money? And he said it doesn't really matter. It doesn't care. I don't care how long it takes to repay the money. That is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but the money will be repaid. And then at that point, Dan jumped in on the offer. Dan was like, you know what? I'm going to come into this business on the same terms with Paul. And then Bolaji now made another counter offer. Bolaji was like, you know what? I'm going to, in fact, it suddenly looked like a battle between these two lions, Bolaji and Paul. And at the end of the day, it looked like Bolaji knew that he was going to be losing this one if he stuck with it, because I think it was a bit harsh for him to say he was going to take all the carbon credit. The question I even have in the back of my head is, why is he so bent on the carbon credit? Like, why? Maybe there's something deeper or bigger in it. You guys, one of the reasons why you should watch reality shows like this is to be business smart, is to understand what is happening in the entrepreneurship space, in the business space, in the eco space, so that you not be caught off guard when somebody is talking about something and you're just looking like lukewarm. Anyways, I'm going to talk about carbon credit maybe in a future video, not now. So at the end of the day, Bolaji felt he was going to be losing out on this, because I mean, if it should be told, Paul's offer was the best offer. I mean, he was going to give them a base location where they were going to be creating their modes in Lagos. These guys don't stay in Lagos. Another set of Northerners came again into the den, and it was quite interesting. And you know, guys, 3 weeks consecutively we've been having Northerners come into the den, and they seem to be the only ones taking home the money. What is happening, my people? My people from the west, my people from the east? I don't understand. How come they just carry all the money? But guys, when it comes to entrepreneurship, it doesn't matter your location. All that matters is your business sense, your business product, what value you're offering to people, and they're bouncing in on it. So at the end of the day, I really was wishing and hoping that these guys would stand their ground and say, okay, you know what, Paul will stand on his own, Bolaji will stand on his own. But at the end of the day, I saw Bolaji saying, you know what, let's readjust. I was angry, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, why can't these lions do stand-alone investment? Why must they always be packing themselves into every entrepreneur's business? Like, I don't know, but what do you feel? Am I judging it too harshly? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I just felt like it would have been better if maybe, like, I saw a real struggle, a real battle, because these guys really had a solid business, if you ask me. So when Bolaji made the adjustment was now, okay, you know what, you guys, I'm going to give you 10 million naira as equity, 10 million naira as repayable loan, which of course they'll pay back 50% of it, which is going to be 15 million. And the carbon credit, still they won't get any of the carbon credit. It will be split among the lions. And I think that was about it. And you know, they were like, you can't bounce me when maybe new investors come into the business and all that. And then they said at the end of the day, they will return back from 50 to 20%, I think, of the business. So at the end of the day, it was a mind-blowing offer. And I really was expecting, if they were shrewd entrepreneurs who were not so bent on money, I think they would have stuck. If I were somebody who was really working with this team that came, I would have told them to stick to Paul's offer and not Bolaji's offer. But because Bolaji and Paul had already blended themselves, I don't think these entrepreneurs had any opportunity to even change or say, okay, we're going to go for this person's offer. But seriously, I really was wishing that these entrepreneurs had done some kind of negotiation. They did not even do any negotiation. They were like, okay, we accept your offer. And I'm like, no way, you guys should stop doing this already. Like, when you have businesses that are very, very phenomenal like this, you guys should know your grounds. Do negotiation, let the team benefit you too, you know. Because the truth is that if you check it at the long run, these lions are not coming to invest. They're not Santa. It's business. You're going to pay back, you know, the full wrath of the money you're collecting. But anyways, it was a beautiful deal. So one entrepreneur got investment in the den out of the 4 entrepreneurs that came in. Guys, that's literally everything that happened in the lion's den. I'm going to see you all in another episode. For now, thank you so much for your watch time. If you haven't subscribed, please do so already. Turn on post notification. I'll be back here with another review on another reality show. Or maybe this is literally the only reality show I'm currently talking about, because Good Health Research just went by. And so guys, I'm going to catch you up on the next episode. For now, bye-bye and take care.